Welcome to Why We're Fans. I'm Duran, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Gennaro.
In all of our episodes, we cover the past, present, and the future of all your favorite NFL football teams.
We love hearing your stories, talking the NFL draft, and reminiscing about the good old days.
If you like the same, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this episode. And leave a comment below if you want to answer any of our questions.
Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on our latest interviews. And like we always say, win or lose, we're all fans. Enjoy this episode.
And welcome to another episode of Why We're Fans. It's your hosts, as always, G and Duran Munez. Duran, how's it going?
Good, man. 3 weeks in a row. We're rocking.
Hell yeah, man. We're rocking. Pro Bowls just got announced. Our teams are cooking. I love it, man. You got football. We got football tomorrow. We got football Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I love it.
Christmas Eve, Christmas.
Yeah, and then you got the Pro Bowl. You got the bowl games for college going on as well, so we can see future players in the NFL going on. So I think that's great.
We'll be busy all weekend.
Oh yeah, we'll be running around with the chicken heads falling off and shit. You know how that goes, man. Whatever the saying goes. All right, Duran, you got anything else before we bring in our guest?
No, I bring him on in. I got a couple questions for him.
Right off the back, I love it. Okay, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we got Mr. Fred Harris, a member of the Die Hard Bowl Club. Fred, how's it going, man?
Hey, fellas, I'm doing good. Ready to go. Ready to represent my fan base well. Let's get it rocking.
Hell yeah. Football Outsiders got you guys at 79% chance of making the playoffs. So I think you guys will be on in there.
I can't be too confident about it because being a fan for the last 18 years, I've seen enough shit happen to where nothing is guaranteed with this team. But I'm more optimistic than I was 3 weeks ago. So we'll just leave it at that.
And in a tough division, man, you guys are surviving.
Yeah, I mean, Broncos or whatever, and then the Raiders. I mean, above 500 seasons in the last 20 years, so I don't really count them in that either. So it's us and the Chiefs.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta be a little bit more confident in your guys' team, just like your coach going on fourth down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All in. Fred, is there anything you want to plug or you want our listeners to look at for you?
Nothing other than like the Die Hard Bolt Club, and then obviously like when this drops, I'm going to plug you guys as well. I have a pretty good following, so just want to get the word out and let people know that it's not just Charger fans. Like we're cool with everybody like, outside of the Raiders, but we're all love, we're all vibes and all that good stuff. So nothing really to plug other than like obviously Enrique, the fan of the year, recommending me. So he has a business too, so I'll be sure to like shout that out.
Perfect. We'll put all the links below for all the fan club information if anyone wants to follow on through.
For sure. Where can we follow you on Twitter, man? What's your handle?
My handle is THA_Federation. So if anybody wants to follow me on Twitter, I say a bunch of wild shit, during the games. I get a little emotional and all that. So if you guys want to follow me, I'll follow back. It's all about the love. You don't have to be a Chargers fan. If you're funny, you don't want to talk about like politics and get all crazy and be internet gangster, then follow me and we'll get along just fine.
You got it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, awesome, man. I'll be sure to give him a follow and whatnot. Duran, you ready to get this interview started, man?
Yep. I'd go off with the first question.
Well, just before we get started, shout out to Russian River for tonight's beer. Got the drinking on some Blind Pig. So, cheers, fellas. Let's get this started. So, Fred, how did it all start? How did you become a Chargers fan? Where did it all start?
So it started back in 2004. So Duran's gonna like this because my best friend is a die-hard Cowboys fan, probably like one of the most loyal fans you'll probably ever meet. And I didn't watch football when I was younger. I couldn't play football. I'm like 5 foot nothing, so I didn't even bother with it. So my best friend's like, look, man, here's Madden. I need you to find a team so you can get into football. So obviously, like I don't know anything about football, so I'm just playing with random teams. And I get through about 20 teams, and I come across the Buccaneers. And so I know nothing about football. I want to say at the time their running back, I want to say it was maybe Tiki Barber. Mm-hmm. And so this was the first team that I could actually like play the game with. So I'm playing on rookie. So obviously like I'm big trash, but I can actually run the ball and I'm scoring like 17, 18 points a game. So I was like, cool. Like I'm gonna play with one more team, and if I don't like them, then I'm a Buccaneers fan. Hit the random select. 21st team is the Chargers, and then I'm balling with this team. I have LaDainian Thompson. I have Lorenzo Neal blocking for me. I have Brandon Malbaliu on one side. I have Antonio Gates on another. I have Vincent Jackson, Keenan McCardell, Phillip Rivers. I'm throwing 40, 50 points a game. So I'm like, all right, this is my team. I'm going to learn about this team, and then I'm going to watch them. And I want to say, since it was so long ago, I think 2004, we were just coming off that 4-12 season, and we go 12-4, and I'm watching in the middle of that, and I'm just being amazed at how like LaDainian Tomlinson is just destroying defenses. This guy's going from 0 to 100 a mile a minute. Phillip Rivers, just this gutsy trash talker that doesn't cuss, and he has this awkward throwing motion, but he's just throwing bombs, and like the team is just amazing. And just like once, I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like something built up into me. It was like I was destined to find this team. And just ever since then, like if anybody that knows me, they know that when you're talking to Fred, he's going to talk about the Chargers at least 98% of the time. And from just 2004, man, my love for the team just grew. I was just watching more and more, becoming more and more involved with the team. Like I'm buying jerseys, I'm buying paraphernalia. Like I'm literally like making names on MySpace and Facebook that are like in reference to the Chargers.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is like what makes me so passionate about is like, yeah, my best friend gave me like the game to find the team, but it's like something that I literally like discovered on my own and had to like learn to grow. Like I've said it before, I felt like when Goku went Super Saiyan for the very first time, you know, it was just that kind of like powerful feeling. Cause like I grew up in a household of like diehard Laker fans. So I was built into that. And then football wise, my dad's a Denver Broncos fan. There's just no way I'm doing that shit. I was like, that's out the door. So like it's just been Chargers, man. I just fell in love with the team. I fell in love with the city of San Diego. And it's just ever since then, in the last 17, 18 years, it's just been all Chargers for me.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I love that. You know, you're the first generation of it, you know, because we've talked to some people on here. It's like, yeah, well, my dad, or man, it goes all the way back to my grandpa. But, you know, you're the first generation. Like you said, you discover it on your own. I think that's great, man. You don't hear that too often. But you said you bought a lot of jerseys. Do you remember your first one?
Man, so you know, back in 2004, like the whole style was just big ass shirts, big ass jerseys. My first jersey was a LaDainian Tomlinson 2XL jersey. So like the sleeves are going like to like almost to my wrist, and it's going
Powder
down
blue?
to my kneecaps. Powder blue, man. And
Yes.
jersey, man. It's crazy.
Do you remember the brand? Was it the Reebok ones back then?
Oh, I want to say it was either Reebok or it's Mitchell and Ness. I mean, it's upstairs in my room hanging, so it's in there.
The Mitchell and Ness ones are legit. Those are the completely sewn on ones. I love it.
Yeah,
I hated those Reebok ones. Man. I hated them so much. Like you like the stitch ones, like they didn't even last. Like Mitchell and Ness, I don't know what it is, how they stitch, but no,
you can't wash them. They need to be hung up and idolized. That's the way it goes.
Yep, that's what the Gates is, hung up.
Yep, exactly. Do you have you ever been to a game? And if so, do you remember your first game?
I've been to Qualcomm quite a few times. My very first game was out, ironically, with my best friend. It's when our very first game is when the Chargers and the Cowboys played in preseason. So I want to say it was 2005, 2006. So that was my very first game at Qualcomm. So just like being there, man, like my first stadium experience. I mean, I'm pretty sure we lost, but I was young, 19, 20 maybe, but just being like in the stadium and seeing an actual football game live, like, man, it's breathtaking. Like, it's just the experience. You can't really explain it, man. It's just like, you love football or you don't. There's like no middle ground with it. It's like you're either passionate about a team or you're just a casual fan. But if you're passionate about a team, man, everything just like blows you away. So being like in the stadium, in the actual Charger stadium, surrounded by Charger fans and just watching the game, man, it was just, I'll never forget it. Like I love telling my kids the story about like my very first football game.
Are you passing on the tradition of being a part of that boat club with them or what?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've had season tickets this year. This is my first season as a season ticket holder at SoFi. So I have 3 seats for me and my kids. I got jerseys. My daughter was watching the games with me on TV before we got actual season tickets. So I told him, I was like, I'm bringing you in. Like, you're a Chargers fan, whether you like it or not. You guys are going to love this as much as I do. So, like, every Sunday, they're like...
Who was her first jersey that you got her, I'm assuming?
She wanted a Herbert off the bat.
Of course.
Like, she said nobody else. She's like, I want a Herbert. My son was the same way. He was like, well, whatever my sister likes, that's what I like. So I was like, all right, let's go.
That's awesome, man.
What's that season ticket package looking like? Are they sending you a little bit of swag, some memorabilia, anything cool
Shit,
in it?
man, we haven't even got it yet.
Oh, I haven't got it
Oh,
yet.
damn.
Okay.
Yeah. Our fucking last home game is in about in 2 weeks, and we
Okay.
still haven't got it, man.
That
So
that makes sense. I just remember once that time of year comes around after the schedule release and stuff, people start showing boxes and videos and stuff of them opening up their season tickets. And I don't know, Chargers, they got a nice stadium and things are rolling right now. So I think they should do something for the fans, something nice.
man, I'm hoping because I see other people on Twitter like opening their season ticket like packages, and they look dope. Like, man, as much as I hate the Raiders, like, man,
Yep.
their packages look good too. But when you're paying $30,000 for a
Yeah.
season seat, it
Yeah.
better be nice. So
That's tough.
I'm definitely gonna do a reveal when I get mine.
I know recently the Chiefs have been kind of the top dog in that division, but it sounds like you have a little bit more hatred for the Raiders. Who do you consider the number one rival for the Chargers?
Number one rival is going to be the Chiefs. Bottom
Chiefs,
line,
okay.
like I honestly I don't consider the Raiders a rival. When you have two above 500 seasons in the last 20 years, your last Super Bowl was in '84, and you have your fans talking about Super Bowls when they weren't even born. I don't consider you a rival, like
Yep.
not at all. Like, yeah, we'll split a series with you, but literally, like, we have to be like playing like absolute dog shit for them to even have a chance to beat us. So Chiefs definitely, because I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey. Like, Patrick Mahomes is probably going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. As much
Yep.
as I hate saying that, I show respect to that. Travis Kelsey, I mean, he's built like a lineman, plays like a wide receiver. So, I mean, we got to deal with Mahomes for the next 13 to 14 years, but thank God we have Herbert to battle it out with it there. But I definitely consider the Chiefs like our biggest rivals.
100%.
Got something, G? I got one more for this.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. Your favorite game so far? I mean, probably your favorite game probably has yet to you've been there, but what was the favorite game you've been to so far?
So far would be last year, the Steelers game, because that was my birthday weekend. So like I'm just happy that every like year a game falls on my birthday. We had the Chiefs game this year that was directly on my birthday. Had we won, that would have been my favorite game. But definitely the Steelers game last year, man. I mean, the Browns game was a close second because both of them were shootouts and it was electric. But just like the Steelers game, Sunday night football, going down to the wire, like watching live as Herbert just throws that wide open pass to Mike Williams and he just skates into the end zone and just watching the stadium erupt. And man, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty drunk. So I'm just running around the stadium, high-fiving people, hugging security guards. They think I'm a little kid because I'm like 5 foot nothing. I'm all drunk as shit in there. That was definitely like the game of the year for me. Like last year, probably my favorite game to date.
That was a great game. 41-37 Chargers win. You got to send Ben Roethlisberger on his way to retirement. He couldn't keep up with the young buck. Justin Herbert, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Keenan Allen doing his thing, 9 catches, 112 yards.
Love that, dude.
All in.
Yep, that's what he does. He's on my fantasy team, so come on. 1 more week, 2 more weeks, Keenan. We got you.
Love Slayer, love him.
Have you been to any away games?
No, not yet, man. My first away game was supposed to be against the Cardinals this year, but then my kids ended up getting sick like the week before we were supposed to go. Didn't get recovered in time. So man, that would have been my very first away game. Like I want to do a Raider game, but man, I'm just not trying to get stabbed for no reason, like all the way in Vegas. So
I heard
that's
it's a
probably
little
a game
bit different in Vegas from what I'm understanding. It's like a lot more kind of bougier.
You know, the way I think of it, I've been to a couple Raiders and Cowboys games. If your fan base travels well, they can't talk a lot of shit to everybody. So if they're completely overwhelming you, you might get the brunt of it. So
yeah.
I don't think Chargers fans travel as well.
No, man, we got that no fans narrative that's just been dragging us for years. But man, we've been killing that narrative for like the last, I want to say 2-3 years. I've been having people come up to me like, man, Charger fans are coming out. Like the Dolphins game, like people were shut up. They were like, man, you guys came out. Like even against the Titans on Sunday, man, if you were in the stadium, like we were deep in there. So man, hopefully like that no fan. I mean, people are still going to say it no matter what. That's really the only joke that they have. But like, I don't care. Like, no fans. They'll always have one fan as long as I'm still breathing. So it doesn't matter to me how many fans we have. Quality over quantity any day of the week.
Yep.
Win or lose, sounds like you boozing with your team, man.
Man, 17 years of it, man. I'm built in the heartache of this shit. Like,
there you go.
I'm built in the trenches of this, man.
It'll pay off. It'll pay off.
Man, I just want one before I die. One before I die.
Yeah. So what's your game day setup looking like? I know you said you do the live tweeting? Are you at home? Or are you at a bar or at your buddy's house?
If it's a home game, I'm at the
There.
stadium. Like,
Yep.
if it's an away game, we have a Chargers bar in Fontana. It's called Chicky Chicky Wings. So that's just usually where Charger fans in the Empire meet up. We have obviously other chapters throughout California and other states of like the Die Hard Boat Club. So they meet up wherever they're set up as well. So game day, man, I'm game day superstitious, man. Like I have my whole setup. Like I can't eat breakfast. I refuse. I can't. I have to shower at least 30 minutes before the game, and I cannot put on my jersey until 5 minutes before the game. Like other than that, like even though win or lose, it's just been my tradition for so long. It's just like I'm sticking with it. Like it's just what I have to do. I feel like bad luck is gonna happen. Like I was gonna wear a Christmas sweater to the Titans game and a hat. And I was like, man, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Sunday morning comes. I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm putting the jersey on because something's gonna happen. I'll never be able to stop blaming myself. So man, and then I try not to tweet during the games, like when I'm there. But man, like people are like, Fred's not tweeting. What's going on? Are you at the game? I'm like, all right, man. Here, boom, 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 boom. Here's me stressing out. Here's me happy.
Got it. G, anything else for this section?
No, I think we're good, man. I kind of like how, man, I just gotta say, man, you hit the random button on Madden, a former Raiders coach, and he gave you the Chargers, man. I think that's awesome.
Crazy, right, man? I mean, it took me 21 teams to get there, but
yeah.
All right, man. So me and Duran got a little wager. So far, he's up 1-0, I believe. So by the end of this little podcast series that we have going on, whoever wins this first, gets the next round or gets the 4-pack of beers. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we want to guess your favorite player. So Duran, you're in the lead.
And it's favorite player of all time. I kind of think this is an easy one.
Of all time for Chargers.
All time?
For the Chargers. I kind of think this is an easy one. You sure you want me to go first?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm just going to go out on a limb here.
Yep, I'm going LT, LaDainian Tomlinson.
I'm going Antonio Gates.
There you go. And the answer is?
Gates.
Gates. Oh,
Gates.
With it.
First jersey I ever got, man, was Gates. LT's the reason why I became a Chargers fan, but man, can't go wrong with Gates. You couldn't go wrong with either one, but it's like it's close. It's close, but it's Gates, man.
Gates, I mean, he was there, I think, almost every year of your fandom. 16 years, 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. I mean, future Hall of Famer for sure. He changed the game at that position.
They even tried to bring him back for a little bit, man.
He did come back for a second.
Came back for a second. Hunter Henry was supposed to be up next, and he was like, "I'm gonna go play with a real quarterback," and ended up with Mac fucking Jones and Blaine Knapp, whatever their fucking name is, rotting over there in New England. So,
yeah, man. Geez, man, Antonio Gates. I think he was like one of the first kind of trailblazing, tight ends, like not playing football. Playing basketball in college at Kent State, I believe, right?
Yeah,
and then going to the NFL with no football background, really, in the college, and just making it. You know what I mean? Like
using basketball moves on the field. I used to love when he did that little spin move. Like if you have a ball in your dribble, you spin around your defender, just boom, post moves in the end zone. Like man, nothing was like it. He paved the way for the Kelseys, like the Travis Kelseys and the Zach Ertz and all that.
Yeah, like the Jimmy Graham is someone who I think of when I think of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was a basketball player at Miami. I was gonna say maybe even Tony Gonzalez, but Tony Gonzalez played football and basketball at Cal.
But both of those guys were right around the same time doing their thing.
Yeah. Man, Jimmy Graham had a short-lived prime. He was short-lived. Left New Orleans and never heard from him after that.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do something with Aaron Rodgers, but man, he couldn't stay on the field.
Yeah,
It's funny because we watched Pat McAfee and he couldn't. They talk about hand signals and being smart enough to learn the playbook, and I guess he wasn't up to par with that. So
another undrafted guy that's going to make it to the Hall of Fame. It's pretty impressive.
Yep.
Did the Cowboys, Rico Gathers, right?
Yeah, what about him?
He was drafted, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a Baylor basketball player.
Yeah, he was drafted. I was gonna say you guys had one, but was he drafted or not?
Yeah, he was. I think he was the last pick of our draft. He didn't quite turn out to be the Antonio Gates that we thought he would be.
he like led like the whole I remember him in March Madness. Like he was just going up for the ball, and he was a monster with the ball. I
Yeah,
was like, damn, man, he's
rebounding,
mean.
baby.
But then he was just soft on the field. That's why Draymond didn't stick to football at Michigan State. He's done
Man,
playing
football's a whole
basketball.
different monster, man. It's a whole
Yeah.
different monster.
Antonio Gates played all those years. I don't ever remember him being like hurt, missing a ton of time or anything like that. And I know he had some foot issues. I'm looking right here. He had some foot issues going through, but he wasn't missing extended period of times. I mean, for a basketball player, I know we think
Yeah.
of non-contact sport coming in and playing tight end around those monsters on the offense and defensive line. And man, he played suited up every game.
What a
Man,
find
just
too, because he's the all-time leader for touchdowns for tight ends, right? Receiving
yep.
touchdowns.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Number
I think
one.
him and I don't know if it's I think him and Rivers still hold the record for most quarterback to tight end touchdown receptions, unless that's already been shattered by somebody. But I think they still hold it.
Yeah, I think
Rivers
they
just
do. He's number one tight end
even with
touchdowns.
that release.
Yeah.
Man, that awkward ass throwing motion. I loved
That
it
was
though.
like the
Loved it.
weirdest release ever.
He's also number 3 in tight end yards all time. So
Oh,
he's on his way. We all know Antonio Gates. He's a baller. Are there any players in Chargers history that you feel like need a little bit more shine, that they're a little
Darren
bit underrated?
Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles 100%.
Okay.
You guys
Yeah.
are the
That's
same
I mean,
height, or
man, I love a little guy. I mean,
Mhm.
but I mean, you look back, man. Darren Sproles did so much for us, and then like obviously, like our playoff woes come like when we need LT and like Gates the most, like they've gone down. But I'll never forget us playing Indy in those playoffs, and Darren Sproles just runs that overtime touchdown in. I mean, he's a little guy, and he's just bulldozing off people, kind of like how Eckler's doing now. But
Mhm.
man, Sproles was returning. I mean, even in that game at the beginning, he returned a kickoff for a touchdown. Sproles doesn't get enough love and recognition, man. He's definitely one of those guys that people need to show more love to. And I'm gonna say it now too. Keenan Allen needs
Okay.
more love and recognition,
Mhm.
especially now that I'm gonna talk some shit for a little bit because it's been irritating.
Go
Obviously,
ahead.
like with Herbert comes new fans, and with new fans becomes like obviously we're gonna have every fan base has like their immature and they're like their shitty fans.
Mhm.
And because these new fans are coming along, and Keenan Allen's like he's in his 30s, and people and I'm just the disrespect of saying that he's old, he's slow, and they're like old, bald, and slow. I'm like, first of all, like you haven't been around long enough to even like make that like perception about Keenan Allen. So it's just these new spoiled ass fans that like want instant gratification. They want instant success. They want just Herbert throwing for 500 yards and 5 TDs and all of them going to Keenan Allen. It's like you haven't seen this man from when he got drafted to being one of the most crisp route runners in the league.
Mhm.
Keenan Allen's an automatic first down on third down. Like, don't disrespect that man. He's definitely underrated. I would
Yep.
say that he's probably to me personally, he's the second greatest route runner in the league next to Devontae Adams. Like, I can't put him over Devontae after he's cooked our ass for 150 yards in both games. Like, but Keenan Allen, Darren Sproles, hell, even Rivers. Like, people
Yeah.
shit on Rivers a lot too. So,
Yeah.
no pun intended, but yeah, Darren Sproles was a spark plug, man. Like
yeah.
he was just like he'd be hiding behind those linemen, and all of a sudden it's like out of that pile, just you see little Mighty Mouse just like running out, and I was like, geez, oh man, like remember that a little bit at Kansas State, but man, just seeing him just run off for like an 80-yarder was something to see.
Yeah.
Like if he was in like this wide zone scheme that a lot of people are taking, it'd be fun for him to see. It'd be fun to see for sure. But yeah, man, Keenan Allen, love that guy. Always got to give respect for someone that played at Cal. Somewhere over here in the North Bay.
Yeah.
And he's coming off that ACL too, and still to come out and just
He's working
those
his way
routes.
back up. He's getting back to
Yeah.
prime,
Well, I mean, man,
just in
even
time for the playoffs.
2
Yes,
weeks ago,
sir.
man, I was playing against him in fantasy. He goes off. I'm like, yep, vintage freaking Keenan Allen. Like
Yeah.
he's just Mr. Reliable with that.
Had to shake the rust off and get back out there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In 2007, I went to a game with my dad. It was Raiders versus Chargers. It was in Oakland, and the Chargers had 3 running backs then: LaDainian Tomlinson, Darren Sproles, and Michael Turner. And I was sitting in one of the end zones, and I remember looking down, and Michael Turner had the biggest legs.
Yeah.
Seeing him in person, I remember being like, "Holy shit, this guy!" Half of his body weight was just in those thighs, and he went on. What was it, Atlanta after that?
And
Yeah.
led the league in rushing.
Yep.
Led the league in rushing the next year. Made me
Yep.
sick, man, that we let him go.
It's tough. I mean, being behind LaDainian and then Sproles, who could be the best third down back, of recent time. And Yeah, those were three really good backs, and they're all playing behind or with their lead blocker, Lorenzo Neal, another guy that deserves a lot of credit.
Definitely. Fullback isn't appreciated in the league as much anymore. People don't really use a lot of. I mean, the Niners do use check, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have Horvath. We use him every now and again. But man, I miss old school football, running out of the strong or the weak guy. Now it's just all shotgun and spread offense. Like
Yep.
I missed ground and pound football really bad.
Yep. It's not the same.
Definitely not.
Yep. Anything else for favorite player, G?
Um,
I'll throw one out there that you usually ask. What about a player that you don't like or
that's what
that
I was
you
gonna ask.
didn't like as a Chargers fan?
I mean, he's gone now, but definitely Jerry Tillery.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
He's on the Raiders now, and he freaking blew
Yep.
that Rams game for them. So definitely happy he's gone.
Okay.
I mean, there's not many players on my team that I honestly didn't like. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Flowers after we got him from the Chiefs because he was already burnt and cooked and
Mm-hmm.
like he was just terrible. So I mean, other than that, I think I rarely dislike like a player that's on our team.
Yeah. There you go.
We
All right,
all
we're
have
gonna
those players.
we're gonna move on a little bit. The next one is we want to know your favorite Chargers coach of all time. I mean, you guys have gone through a couple in the recent years, but do you have one that stands out to you?
Marty, Marty Schottenheimer all the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just hate that he got fired. And people think that, they fired him because the Chargers are being cheap. And yeah, we have a history of that. But I mean, if people know the history, they know he got fired because he wasn't going to be a yes man to AJ Smith and Dean Spanos. He
Okay.
wasn't just gonna bend over and be like, yeah, 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 yeah. He's like, no, like we just came off a 12-4 season. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, well, we don't want to run that way. He's like, all right, I'm not going to do it. Then boom, gone. And after that, it's just been a shit heap of coaches. We had freaking Mike McCoy, we had freaking Anthony Lynn, we had Norv turnover. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, man, after all that, and then I guess I'll put Staley as a close second, but that's by default because the other three were just fucking tragic. But
Yeah.
definitely Marty Schottenheimer by far.
Marty, I mean, I think he might be the most unlucky head coach of all time, just because, he had, especially being fired after, was it 12-4 season, but he was always in the playoffs, always right there, just couldn't get over the hump. And, a lot of them were lost leads and things like that, where I think one of those games could have really changed the way that he was thought of in the NFL community.
Man, we just have a history of bad looking at playoffs, man. I've just too much goddamn heartbreak. Our only Super Bowl, we
Yep.
get blown out. Play the Jets, Nate hitting Shanks 3 field goals. Like play the Patriots in 2018, and we're playing cover 3 against the greatest fucking quarterback of all time. The entire game, Edelman's cleaning us out. Like, man, it's just. And then I can't forget the Marlon McCree fumble against the Patriots to seal the game. I will never. That's the guy I hate the most.
Yep.
Now I don't know why I never thought of that motherfucker, but if I ever meet him in person, I think I would drop kick him. Like, fuck Marlon McCree forever.
Yep.
Just go down. Like,
Yep.
God, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, rest easy, Martin Scheimer.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Two things I always like to bring up with him is first his coaching tree. His coaching tree is off the hook. Bruce Arians, Bill Cowher, Tony Dungy, Herm Edwards, Hugh Jackson, Mike McCarthy, Wade Phillips, Art Shell, Tony Sperano, Mark Trestman. I mean, those guys, numerous of those guys have won Super Bowls, if not multiple. And I mean, that's a hell of a coaching tree to have underneath you.
Yep. Definitely.
And then the second one is he was a hell of a drafter. He drafted some studs, and especially later in his career, Cromartie, Marcus McNeil, Sean Merriman, Louis Castillo, Vincent Jackson, Sproles, Eli Manning / Rivers, that whole thing that happened there. Nick Hardwick, Sean Phillips, Michael DeBurner Turner, Quentin Jammer. I mean, these are some studs. I mean, if you just spread that out, he was getting like a Pro Bowler a year, which is unheard of.
Roster was stacked, man.
Shout out Marty.
Yeah, man, I didn't know that he drafted Vincent Jackson, man. I know Vincent Jackson went to a small school too, so that shows you something, that he has a good eye for talent.
Yep.
That's awesome, because who'd you say Mike McCarthy was in there too, right?
Yep, McCarthy. Yep. I mean, these guys, that's why I say I think he's maybe the most unlucky head coach, because everything was there except for that damn Super Bowl win. And everything underneath him, from the players to the coaches, he was doing everything right.
Yeah, like you said, man, it's just luck, because the players are there, scheme was there. I mean, fuck. I mean, against the Ravens, you guys can't stop Lamar. You know what I mean? Like, well, we're just gonna let him throw because he can't at that time. And you guys decided to play the same thing against one of the best passers in the league.
Man, it worked against Lamar. We were playing freaking 7 DBs, and we're just like, okay, well, we're just gonna sit back and just let him throw. And then can't do that against Tom Brady, man. You just can't. Like, you got to hit him. That's what everybody knows. You got to hit Brady.
Yeah.
And just hopefully he starts like just making mistakes. But you sit back and you let him get a clean pocket, he's just gonna pick you apart.
Yeah.
And I remember, man, I was at my daughter's soccer tournament up in Apple Valley, and I'm wearing my Chargers jersey, and I'm just watching the game, and it like random people are coming to pat me on my shoulder, like, tough break, kid. I'm just like, man, I'm so used to this. It hurts, but I'm just used to it.
Yep. I'm numb at this point.
Yeah, like, tell me something I don't know, man. Shit.
We covered the coaches. We're going to move on to something a little more positive. Do you have a favorite memory being a Chargers fan? It could be anything in the playoffs. I know Super Bowl hasn't been recent. A comeback, a classic play, someone you drafted.
Let's see, man, so many good memories. Damn. I mean, if I'm gonna go recent, man, it's got to be Herbert first stepping out against the Chiefs week 2 3 years ago. Like,
so you're celebrating someone getting stabbed in the chest.
I mean, sorry, Tyrod.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah.
Hey, Tyrod is good luck, Chuck, man. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Everybody falls out after he goes down.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man, because like after going through seeing Rivers retire, man, you know, the whole fan base is feeling like we're about to go through a quarterback carousel for the next God knows how many years, you know? And then Herbert's coming out. This dude has like 30 seconds to prepare for a start, and the first drive just flawless. And it was just, and we almost beat the Chiefs. And I think that's what made us good. It's like, man, this guy, he had no preseason because it was COVID, barely knows the playbook, wasn't supposed to play, comes in here and almost beats Patrick Mahomes when he like just came off a stellar season. So, I mean, that's probably like my most recent favorite moment. That was also like the first time I got together with actual members of the Die Hard Boat Club. Because prior to that, we were just doing like we're doing now, talking on Zoom because COVID was going on. We couldn't be around each other. So I'm just like talking to these people over a phone screen. So meeting them in person and just seeing like everybody's passion for this team. Because I didn't even know there were like football clubs until Enrique told me. I thought I was just alone in this little small ass fan base of Charger fans. But come to find out, you know, people are just as batshit crazy about this team as I am. Yep. So having the high emotions of nervous of like seeing like your team play and then being around all these Charger fans for the first time, and it just blows you away just seeing Herbert ball out like that. It was something special, and we all knew it from that moment on. So that's definitely like one of my most favorite recent memories for sure.
It's a great one.
Oh yeah,
the one that it's kind of a year-long one, but back in 2006, LaDainian Tomlinson's monster season, 1,800 yards rushing, 28 touchdowns, 58 catches, 500 yards. That was probably maybe the second year I was playing fantasy football, and he won me the championship. I have been a diehard LaDainian Tomlinson fan since. He's my favorite player ever. I know I'm a Cowboys fan, but LaDainian Tomlinson, he stole my heart from just fantasy football and watching all that stuff. So
he's
2006. Yeah.
TCU, that man was special. Yep. Hell, then breaking that touchdown record against the Broncos was even sweeter too. Yep. Just, oh man, against a division rival, you couldn't ask for anything better.
Yep. Yeah. Of course, he won the MVP that year. I mean, he was doing everything so well. He was throwing touchdowns at one point.
Yeah.
They were tossing him the ball, and everyone, of course, all 11 guys on defense were going straight for LT, and he'd just pop it right over their head. So
I think his passer rating is perfect too. I don't think he missed the pass.
Oh, perfect. I could see that.
I think he's 100%.
Yeah, he's like 3 for 3, 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that year too, he was going against. I mean, he wasn't going against, but him and Frank Gore were like battling for like the most touchdowns.
Yeah.
Or something like that, I believe. And
I can see that.
Yeah, man. Because I was like vintage Frank Gore, you know, when he was prime, you know, when he was in his prime when the Niners weren't doing so great. But yeah, man. He was killing it. And I just remember like, dude, LT is just on a crazy level, man. Just watching him play.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
He had the stiff arm from hell. Like with that stiff arm, you weren't getting him. You were not getting them.
The stiff arm, the visor. I think he had a custom face mask. Everything.
The teardrop celebration.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
He had like
Yep.
that bull ring upside down or whatever.
Yeah.
That game that I went to the previous year when the Raiders and Chargers were playing, he scored in the end zone right where I was sitting, did the teardrop celebration. Antonio, you guys dominated that one. And I was sitting right there in the black hole. My dad's a Raiders fan, and I was secretly smiling because my favorite player was killing it. And I was around all these miserable fans. It was hilarious.
Duran went from 6 to midnight. He was so happy.
LT, baby. He'll do
Yes,
it.
sir.
Like watching him was just,
Amazing.
man, it was just so crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like it was weird because I love the Jets is one of my favorite Hard Knocks seasons, and having him on there, another ex Chargers with
Cromartie. Yep.
he was on there too. But man, it was so ugly seeing him with the Jets
Yeah.
uniform.
And he got the
Yeah.
tattoo. The tattoo made it worse.
Yeah,
That's what made it worse, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that broke me. But it's like, man, classic Chargers.
Yeah.
We don't let our players retire as Chargers. We let them go
Yeah.
off and venture somewhere else. Like hell, Rivers hasn't officially retired, but he was a Colt for a year.
Yeah.
So
I feel
He
you.
took him to the playoffs that year too. Shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how you know, man. That's how you know Rivers wasn't the problem.
Yep. One more good memory I want to bring up. 2007. This was just one of my favorite, especially I heard you say earlier, Philip Rivers doesn't cuss so I always wanted to get like a mic'd up. Remember Philip Rivers trash talking Jay Cutler?
Oh, calling him
There-
crybaby.
yeah,
screaming
exactly.
at him on the
Just
sideline,
yelling
yeah.
on the sideline that
That
I
man does
mean,
not cuss.
yep. And Chargers were dominating that game. And I think Jay Cutler had to have been, he always kind of had that crybaby look on his face. So
Yeah.
Like someone give me a dart. I just want to smoke right now.
Yep.
And despite all that, man, I didn't even hate Jay Cutler. I kind of liked because dude had a rocket for an arm.
Yeah,
was
he
just
did.
He was just a doofus. Like other
Yep.
than that,
Yep. Even when you hear him now, you can kind of understand why he was that way. He just really doesn't give a shit about many things. He's like,
yeah.
he does his thing, and that's about all he cares about. You don't see him really meeting up, or you couldn't see him meeting up with wide receivers in the off season. That he's like, nah, I'm fucking making money and moving on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Philip Rivers is cool, man, because hearing like his mic'd up, like him running down this, like he throws a touchdown, he goes, yeah, and your defense lineman like, Dan, you gonna do that? He goes, oh, I do.
Yeah.
You love that boy? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Motherfucker. I'm like, what did you just say, fucker?
Man, I
It's so
miss that
weird
guy.
you don't.
The way he could read defenses, man, was magical. That's why I wish like 1 year with Herbert under him would have did wonders, man. But I just love the way that he would just read defenses. It was crazy.
It's crazy that you guys didn't even want him. You guys wanted Eli instead.
I think it became they knew Eli wasn't going to play, but he's a trading pawn, correct? I don't know.
Yeah. Eli didn't want to play for us. Like, or his dad didn't want him to play for us. So they were just like, I came in like in the middle of that. So I didn't even know about that whole like little swap and all that. So I just came in and Rivers was balling. I was like, I love this guy. And then I found out like years later, it's like, oh, so that's what happened? Fuck Eli.
Yep. Yep. Well, with all good memories comes some bad memories. Do you have a worse memory being a Chargers fan? I mean, you mentioned a couple of these missed field goals.
You might want to take a big drink for this, man.
Maybe someone leaving, a quarterback leaving, player injury, anything like that.
So outside of Nate Katy shaking 3 field goals against Jets, outside of Marlon Reprieve fumbling, Rivers ACL, the saddest moment is when they left San Diego. Like, honestly, like legit, man. I'm not gonna lie, I cried. Like when I got that notification from ESPN, which was the worst way to fucking find out. Like I'm at work and I get an ESPN notification that the Chargers are relocated to Los Angeles. And I'm like, man, like it hurt. Like it was devastating. Because like I love the city of San Diego. My plan was like to move out there, retire out there, become a Chargers season ticket holder, and just live the rest of my days out there in San Diego. And to just see that like they couldn't come to an agreement and that the Chargers were gone, like it hit different, man. And what's worse is that it literally split the fan base in half. Like just destroyed the barrier between San Diegans and Charger fans, like all together. So just like seeing that, granted, like they're an hour closer to me now. Can't really complain about the commute, but I didn't mind driving those 2 hours to San Diego, waking up at 4 a.m, getting to San Diego by 6 and setting up by 9, because it was special, man. The city's beautiful. Like no matter where you go in San Diego, it's beautiful, man. The city's beautiful. It's the craft beer capital of the USA. Like it was just the city was magical. The Chargers made it more special, and like it's where everybody really like came together and like we're Chargers fans. So I'm getting emotional, man. Holy shit!
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably like one that probably one that hurt the most for a while. But I mean, shit happens. It's life. You bolt the fuck up. If you're a diehard, they could move to the goddamn moon. You got to rep your team no matter what.
Yeah.
And on top of that too, it's like growing up, like you have, your room and your brother's room, and your parents just had a daughter. It's like, hey, we're relocating you here. Not only that, you have to share a room with the Rams now.
Yeah.
So that's shitty, man. Like not to
And they're
twist
gonna
it
win a
even
Super
more.
Bowl.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was the worst thing that could have possibly fucking
Yeah.
happened because now we're the goddamn Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it sucks, man. But
So what do you think the ideal solution for that? I mean, as far as I know, you guys are kind of on a lease with that stadium. Would you want to build your own stadium? Do you think that's even feasible at this point?
nah, fuck that. We pay $1 for rent. I'm cool with that. Like,
Okay.
40,
Isn't that
48
coming to
years,
an
like,
end soon?
yeah,
I
but
thought it was
fuck
like
it.
3 years or something like
Shit.
that.
I mean, we're there for the next 48 years. Honestly, man, to me, like the stadium doesn't fucking matter to me. Like it's
Yeah.
the team that matters to me. Like I don't care. We could play in a goddamn dirt field somewhere in the desert. Like I don't care. Like yeah, like the home crowd is good and all that, but like it's the team that matters to me. Like I don't care where they play. I just want to be able to watch my team. Like a Super Bowl definitely would be nice. Like to get our
Mhm.
first, definitely. I think that's every football fan's dream is to like see their team hoist that Lombardi. But as in location, stadium wise, like just to me personally, I'm not speaking for every other Charger fan. That doesn't matter to me. Like I go where the team goes.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. What hurt worse? Derwin James's ACL or Keenan Allen's? They were
Shit.
both of them happened really early in the season too, so it was pretty much a full season without both of those guys when it did happen.
I would say, damn, Derwin.
Derwin. Why was that? Because it's kind of he had injuries before. He was kind of being very hyped up after that rookie season.
That and like for a while, like I was like all offense. I liked all offensive players. Like obviously, like back then in the early like from 2004 to 2007, like we had good defensive teams, and I was all hyped on like the Merrimans, the Sean Phillips, the Cromarties, the Antoine Casons and stuff like that. But after a while, our defense just started withering away. We started becoming like an offensive juggernaut. So like I started getting hyped I was hyped when we got DJ from the start, and to just see him go down like that, I'm like, man, like we have the worst fucking luck when it comes to injuries. Like it's an ACL here, an ACL there. So just to see that, I'm like, man, like, and the only thing we all Charger fans say the same thing, same old Chargers, So
Yeah,
just seeing
tough.
that, it's like, man, like it's like it hurts, but it's like you halfway expect it to happen. And that's what sucks as being a Chargers fan. It's like you can only have so much happiness before you have to set in the reality that something bad's gonna fucking happen. So definitely Derwin.
Yep, keeps you on your toes. I think G's feeling you too. Those Niners with their injuries. I mean, feels like it's someone each week.
Man, your quarterbacks are getting fucking rocked with like
quarterbacks, running backs. It's always a rotating door of running backs.
Man,
We're like the
I
most
feel,
injured team,
bro,
man. It's
bro, I feel your
crazy.
pain because I drafted Trey Lance.
Mm.
He goes down. I picked up Jimmy G off the waiver wire. He goes down. I have Brock Purdy. Played him last week. Yells out the fucking game. I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, G, any bad memories, or do you just want to move on?
No bad memories, man. I mean, it's tough for me. I mean, one thing I do remember the most is like, man, I loved how that playoff run when they shut down Lamar. I was like, man, okay, they solved it. That's pretty cool. But just, I don't know, man. The Patriots one, I just keep on remembering that because I was like, all right, man, the Chargers, man, I hope they, I hope they upset Brady. Hope they upset Brady. The fact that they didn't, man, I was like, fuck. I was like,
That's just Gus Bradley, stupid ass, sitting in cover 3 all goddamn game. I'm so glad he's not our DC anymore, man. That was a classic Gus Bradley. It doesn't matter what formation the offense is running. He said cover 3, cover 3, cover 3 for the whole
like,
time.
man, just get off of it. And I was like, no, okay, all right, fuck.
Yeah, Brady eat that up. Brady will eat that up. All right, let's move on to some brighter days. We want to know your future expectations for the team. I mean, I started looking over just some free agents that might be leaving next year, and you guys are
Sean
pretty.
Payton is a free agent coach.
Oh, yeah. Are you happy with the coach?
I'm honestly in the middle, man. Staley says a lot of the right things, and
Yep.
like he was
Keeps
really
you on.
ballsy. He was ballsy last year because at that point, we really had nothing to lose. And this year, like I hate that whole defensive guru title they give him. I mean, he's only been in the league 4 years. He had Aaron
Mhm.
Donald, Jalen Ramsey, the Rams in their prime with all their talent. So I'm in the middle when it comes to Staley. He's made some great adjustments in the last since the Niners game. He's made some great defensive adjustments. We were supposed to get throttled by the Niners. I've had that chalked up as an automatic L on the calendar for weeks, and to see us, play defensively the way we were playing, and then it just keeps transitioning over and over. We're getting better as the weeks go on. So I'm kind of teeter-tottering in between the middle, but I like Staley as a coach.
Mhm.
It seems like the team wants to play for him. He hasn't lost the locker room, and seeing how the team responded with like having like Anthony Lynn pretty much shit on his players, and then going from like Mike McCoy having zero confidence in like the offense or the defense, and Norv Turner. So I mean, since Marty, he's probably the best coach that we've had. So I mean, he's in year 3, I want to say. I'm in the middle, man. Honest
Yep.
to God, I'm really in the middle about Staley. I like him, but he like makes some bonehead calls sometimes and doesn't challenge shit that we can obviously win. But coaches can't be perfect. Do I want a coaching change right now? I'll say no. If we somehow manage to fuck these last 3 games up, then maybe I'll feel a little bit differently. But
Yep.
So gun
I'm
to your head, they say Spanos comes out to you, goes, "Hey, Fred, we can keep Staley, but this guy Sean Payton, chewing his gum right here. He wants to come in and coach. You're gonna say
See, man.
no?"
I mean, because it can't just be that simple. Because I mean, our current offensive coordinator is Lombardi, and that was also Sean Payton's guy. So if getting rid of Staley means we bring in Sean Payton and still keep fucking Lombardi, then no, I'd rather keep Staley and give Lombardi the fucking boot week 18 when the clock hits 0.
But
Yep.
Payton
So
is gonna be the play caller and everything like he was in New Orleans.
so gun to my head, man, I'm gonna say no. I'm like,
No? All
I'll
right,
ride
man.
with I'll
Stick to
ride
your
with
guns, man. I
Staley.
like that.
I'll
I'd
ride with
keep rocking
Staley.
with Staley. He hasn't done. I mean, sometimes I wish he would just take some of those field goals and take the points. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think he's a good coach, and I'd
Yeah.
keep rocking with him.
Could be
I like
worse,
that he
man. You
trusts
can have
Herbert.
Urban Meyer.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what a shit show that was. Jesus.
Literally shit show.
Yeah.
Man. Oh my God.
Yeah. Um, one guy I do want to ask you about for future expectations. I mean, how much do you love Asante Samuel Jr.?
Love him.
God
Love
Damn.
him. He's a dog. Love him.
Yep.
want him
Love
And
that
so
guy.
bad.
that was one guy I really liked coming out of the draft. Dallas had prime position to draft him. Was it the second round? And they took the shithead Calvin Joseph, who was legit involved in a murder this offseason and playing like shit right now. And then I see Asante Samuel Jr. just balling out. And I already know it's because he didn't fit their prototype size. And it's like when you see a guy like that, to me, nickel or a slot corner is a starter. And nowadays it's like that's a start. So throw that out the window. That he could have at least been right there. But dude, he's balling everywhere, and I
Yeah.
love seeing it.
What I love about him this year too is that he's going to like knock the ball away. Back, I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
previous year he was going for the interceptions, and it,
Mhm.
it was just butchering us. Him and Nazir Adderley. But now he's forcing the completions and passes batted down. I love that about him. He's quick. His route tree's getting better. He's being able to shadow defenders well.
Yep.
Love what he's doing now, man. He's a dog.
It
Yep.
feels good going to because you guys had Chris Harris, and I love those battles and practices
Fuck.
from him and Keenan. You go from that nickel, then you go to another nickel with Asante Samuel Jr. That's awesome, man.
It's definitely an upgrade, man. Our biggest problem is that we grab players from our division rivals like when they're over the hill. Freaking Chris Harris Jr. was just Brandon Flowers all over again. We got him from the Chiefs and he was getting burnt on routes. I was never a fan of the Chris Harris Jr. signing. Even Broncos fans are like, you guys are gonna hate it. And then we turn around and do the same thing when they get Melvin Gordon. You guys are gonna hate it. So it's just that sort of situation.
What about Khalil? How'd you feel about that one?
Loved it. I loved it. oh man, just to piss. I mean, the fact that we pissed Raider fans off. He's washed. Watch. He's gonna be hurt. He's not gonna play. Like, bro, we're 12 games in the season. He hasn't missed one.
Yep.
And then just to see week one, this man thrashed Derek Carr for 3 sacks, and just
Mhm.
Raider fans are just like in disbelief. And then, I mean, we got him for nothing.
Yep.
Got him for
Yeah.
nothing.
Is
Love it.
Bosa's practice one opening up yet?
It's supposed to open up this week. Expectations give him the practice. Hopefully, be back. Hopefully Monday, but if I'm being optimistic, he'll be back the following week.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
hearing he wants to come play with his brother.
Yeah, man. And another thing I love that getting him, like, you can't triple team Bosa anymore. You got to double team Mac, you got double team Bosa, but you can't do both. So that's what I was really excited about.
Yeah, I love watching when Bosa's on his game, man. It's just sight to see. And like when I heard that, like, oh man, the Niners are in prime, but I mean it sucked because we had a shitty game. Jimmy G goes down, but because he went down against KC, we had in prime position to get Bosa, the younger brother. I was like, oh man, I'm pretty excited because watching Joey Bosa is awesome. When he's on his A game, like he's good to go. And I was like, man, they need someone opposite of him. And I'm still saying that about Nick Bosa right now, but now they have Khalil Mack, I'm like, shit. That's one of the scariest, duels. And they have one in Vegas right now too with Jones and Crosby, but
oh yeah,
Mack
we found that shit out the hard way.
Yeah, shit.
You guys have some notable defensive players that are going to be free agents next year. Which of these guys do you want to bring back? Of course, Nazir Adderley, Bryce Callahan, Kyle Van Noy. He is 31 years old now, and Morgan Fox.
Morgan Fox, 100%. Morgan Fox, definitely, man.
Over
Morgan
Nazir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nazir's hit or miss. I mean, this guy, I remember last year and the year before that, man, he's either like making interceptions hard for the team or he's just getting in his teammates' way. I see he has a hard time like reading where he's supposed to help or where he's supposed to shadow in his zones. So like the kid, but you know what, like with Derwin back there, we just need a serviceable safety. We don't really need like another Nazir. We can fill that hole gradually. We have Alohi Gilman, so I actually like him a whole lot more than I like Azir. Okay. So definitely Bryce Callahan. Holy shit, what a pickup!
Yeah,
like I think besides him and DeAndre Carter are probably like 2 sleeper signings that we picked up this year that have really paid dividends. I definitely want Bryce back too, like for sure. Kyle, nah. I mean, it's granted the fact that with Bosa going down, Kyle Van Noy had to play edge, and that's not really his position, but he was kind of like just a traffic cone for weeks in that position. Serviceable, got his first sack against the Dolphins, man. It's like you're weeks late, man. I mean, he was generating pressures, but I mean at 31, nah, man. We can draft him their edge and just fill that gap.
I feel you.
You guys did a good job by locking up Michael Davis multi-year.
Oh, love Vato. Love him. Yeah. Love him.
I liked him too, and I was like, okay, he's a free agent. I was like, I'd like to get him because he's a taller corner, athletic, and everything. But I was like, he's not leaving that for sure. He's staying in Chargers.
He was our cornerback 1 before we locked up JC. So
yeah,
then he ended up being cornerback 3 when we decided to make Asante cornerback 2, and JC goes down. Vato moves into 1, and he's just been getting better as every week goes along.
Oh yeah.
I got one more question for future expectations, and that's it for me. But Rashawn Slater, we know he went down this year. Cowboys Nation really wanted him. He was a big draft target when off season was going. He was a guy that his name just kept popping up. And I was sold on him. I was like, yep, bring him on in. We need O-line help. He could do multiple things. Did you see enough from him this year? I know he only played 3 games, but is the future bright there?
Definitely, man. Just from seeing him last year, 3 games will be a small sample size for newer fans, but anybody that saw him last year, the way that he played, amazing. I mean, he has a bicep injury. I mean, you could just build the strength back from that. He'll be fine. Okay. But definitely, man. That guy's a wall. He's an absolute wall.
Anything else?
It was a bicep for him and ACL for JC, right?
JC, yeah. I think he dislocated his knee, and then I think it was yeah. I was there when it happened.
One of those.
Yeah, I was there in person. I saw it happen.
Man, that's always the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one question? It's a little bit out. Do you ever go to any of the practices or training camp stuff?
Yeah, I go to every training camp.
Nice.
I went this year. I took my kids to the training camp for the first time this year. You know, I'm giving them the full Charger experience. So they got to see their first training camp and they got to see the players and like learn about the actual Chargers football. You know, outside of like
Mhm.
just being in the stadium and it being loud as shit, not really knowing what's going on. So went to training camp last year, previous years before that. You know, love it.
Yep. I feel like that's where you really get to get up and close and personal with these players. And I remember it might have been his rookie year, or it might have been the year he came back, but Derwin James, I actually saw training camp footage of him covering Keenan Allen in the slot.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, he looked like a corner doing that. And he's got to be the best tight end man-to-man coverage guy in the league, right?
Oh man, definitely. Like when we
The
play the
eraser.
Chiefs, if Derwin's on Kelsey, Kelsey
Yep.
gets nothing. The
Yep.
moment Derwin's not on Kelsey, Kelsey starts eating. That's how we lost both Chief games.
Mhm.
You know, Derwin goes out, Kelsey runs him up.
Yep.
Like that's it, man. Same with Waller. He shuts down Waller.
Mhm.
That's what he does, man. And that's
He's
hard
a
to find
G,
in the
man.
safety. That's hard
Yeah.
to find in the safety.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like in college, it was Ramsey and James, man.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's so crazy if you think about that.
Studs.
Shit.
Studs.
gems, man. Those are gems.
Yep. G, that's it for me. You got anything else?
Yeah, man. What's your prediction for the next few games that you have coming up? If you have to like go week by week, what do you think?
Who do they got?
Optimistic fan of me wants to say 3-0. We went out. You know, obviously, like you can't look past any game. We got the Colts coming up, and with Nick Foles starting, it looks like a potential trap game. It could be
Oh yeah.
just like the it could be just like the Texans game last year. Granted, it was the COVID Bowl 2021 with everybody being out, but you can't really look past any opponent. But I think we'll be fine. Realistically, I'm gonna say 2-1, and that's only because we are historically bad in Denver. Like we are historically bad out there. So the chance with the altitude, the weather, you know, we could possibly drop that game. But with the way Russell Wilson is, if he's not coming back and we got to deal with the backup, I think we go out 3-0, and with any luck, I want the fifth seed, to be honest.
Yep.
Like sixth seed is nice, but I don't want to see the Bengals right now. Like, do not want to see the Bengals right now. So I'll take the fifth seed and take my chances.
I could see the 3-0. I like it. Colts,
Yeah, I can
Rams, and
see it as
Broncos.
well, man. I mean, you playing against, Baker's still fairly new to that, but also he doesn't really have, the weapons.
Yeah.
The Colts, like you said, I can see that being a trap game because they did what they did to the Vikings.
No Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and no JT, but they did it without JT early as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't see Deion Jackson doing anything special. I hope you guys do shut down, the riot of Broncos country.
Man, me too. And I want to shut that narrative. Everybody's like Herbert's not league. Make the playoffs first. I want people to experience playoff Herbert.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I think once he gets there, man, he's gonna go on a tear. Like that kid is special.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man, it's always fun to see him just say, you know what, no one's open. Fuck it. Where's Mike Williams? Seeing that big old boy.
You need one of them, man. You need a speed threat and you need a jump ball guy. We just got to get the speed threat hopefully in the draft this year.
I told you he needs to be Keenan Allen. I got fantasy on the line this. So, come on, Keenan.
Hey, man, he's getting better with every week, man. He's about to start cooking. He's about to start cooking again.
Oh yeah, and actually, I'm playing against Deion Jackson in my semifinal. So yeah, shut down Deion Jackson. That'd be great.
Shut him down.
Hey, our run defense is getting better. I mean, we held Henry to 100 yards. I consider that a win. Like,
Yeah.
I consider that a W in my book.
Yeah. Well, Fred, do you want to plug anything one more time, and we'll wrap this on up?
Just my football club, Die Hard Bolt Club. You can follow us on Twitter at Die Hard Bolt Club, Instagram with the same handle. Enrique Carranco, he's the fan of the year. He has a company called Case Concrete. You know, he does pools, he does backyards, any of that stuff. You guys are looking to get a remodel done, be sure to hit him up. And the Chargers in general. And obviously follow me on Twitter at _Federation. And that's about it, man. Drink Hennessy. Be merry, drink your water. Bolt the fuck up, baby.
Yeah, we'll put all those links below so you can go ahead and follow on through. And we love Enrique too. He was awesome on here. And on my bucket list, I got to go see that stadium, SoFi. So if Dallas and the Chargers are ever playing there, I'll be there and I'll definitely hit you guys up.
Definitely eat at the tailgate. Don't eat the food in the stadium.
Yep, you know it.
My second
You know it. Well, thanks for joining us, Fred. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. It's been a pleasure with you.
All right. Cheers.
All right, Fred. Cheers.
All right, man. Cheers.